Hi there, this is Crystal Davis, and this is video 4 in my 5-part video series, The Turnaround from Pain to Pleasure. 5 crystal clear tips for turning your pain into your divine message for more clients, more money, and more life. Okay, so this tip is about tip number 4 is an extension of what we just spoke about with tip in video number 3 in relationship to how you feel hidden, where you feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. And by specifically, as we discussed, looking at the gates in your human design and where you are feeling unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. So what we're going to do is take that aspect and identify, again, that part of you that feels unseen, unheard, and misunderstood, and put it in this, fill in the blank in this sentence. And the sentence is, I feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood because I am, and you fill in the blank. In my example, I say, I feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood because I am too deep. Okay, again, it relates specifically to my gate 48 in my human design. So by acknowledging how you really feel when you show up in a way out in the world, and you show up in a way where you just feel bad about yourself, by making this statement of how it makes you feel, you really start giving acknowledgement, noticing yourself. You start seeing, hearing, and understand yourself. You stop looking for other people to do it, and by beginning to do it for yourself. And so even though you're saying, I feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood for being, because I am too deep, it begins to open the door for you to see the gift, find the gift in all that you are, and by aspect. And so again, using my example with my gate 48, which is the gate of the well, the gate of depth that's in my spleen center, you can see how, especially with networking and marketing and generally just putting myself out there in the world, when you're a deep person, most people really, small talk and going out and just having a talk, which is small talk about work and family and all of that. When you're a deeper person, or my particular divine gift of going to the depths and really seeing things that most people don't see, you can see where that would be a challenge. Up until now, a large part of me saw it as, really like the deer in headlights, right? So there's places with you in your life that you show up, and just simply being you feel maybe different, like an outcast, even ugly duckling. There's a lot of different, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? The thing that makes you different, the thing that makes you stand out and shine, or should make you stand out and shine, like Rudolph, right? Putting that artificial black nose on top of his red nose because maybe embarrassed or ashamed or whatever it may be. It's a lot of emotion around that. And I know I've experienced that with this particular aspect of myself. And as I said, there's I'm too deep, or I am deep, maybe is another way, right? Another way of turning it around and saying, I'm too deep. Well, but I am deep. Okay. And related to that is this fear, because, this fear of not enough, right? And because what was my experience? Again, in this example, we're teasing this example out to help you to see where you will be doing this for yourself as well. You can see very easily how when I stood out to go to networking, or showed up, it can even be a one-on-one situation. If there's somebody that's not a good match for me in my work, that it could be a very difficult situation if I'm not feeling and embracing and acknowledging. That's really the key point here. Acknowledge and embrace. This is a gift, right? as long as you're seeing it as a challenge or an opportunity or an obstacle or a problem, or I'm too deep, there's a problem here, right? You're going to keep manifesting that. Again, law of attraction, these deeper ways that we have hidden ourselves, these ways that we need to acknowledge how we really feel when we're just simply trying to be ourselves. You can see how powerful that is. So with this example, just again, first thing, acknowledging that you feel, I feel that I'm too deep. And it makes me feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood. Opens the door to saying, I feel this way. Because here's the thing, what we do with emotions. There's really two ways that we handle our emotions. We either are seeing our emotions as a problem and trying to bury them deep down inside of us. If I go back to when I was a child, when I really had no idea what was going on, right? When we're little, we're just trying to be ourselves. And as I spoke about in the last video about being that castle where we're playing and we're just trying to be ourselves. But then as we bump up against other people who are not seeing, they can't see themselves, right? Again, sorting the laundry, they can't see themselves, and so they may do all kinds of things, right? And you can see how it could be really super confusing for a child, and then we carry that on into adulthood. So we bury those emotions deep inside of us. That's where the frozen piece comes in. We freeze and we hide it, close down, we repress, okay? Now, the other thing, the opposite thing that starts to happen, and both of these are out of balance conditions. One is, I want to bury it, I want to hide it. Can't be there because there's something wrong with who I am. The other way, as we start to really acknowledge our emotions, we can tend to go to the opposite extreme, which is to be overwhelmed by our emotions. We can't handle the emotion. And then we can go back and forth where, oh, it's too overwhelming, so I'm going to go back to hiding it. Or, so you can see where that would go back and forth. Or I am overwhelmed and I'm being emotional all over the place, and people are, looking and thinking, what's wrong with me? I'm, always expressing my emotions. And so what we're learning to do, what we need to really learn to do, and this is just a glimpse into it in this 5-part video series, but it's important to, the keyword balance, to balance where I can feel the emotion, I can acknowledge the emotion, and I can heal the emotion. And when we really work that process, we can find emotional balance, emotional clarity, and really step into, I'm okay just being me, okay? So, but this first step, again, is super important because it's in a state of acknowledging your emotion, meaning that I'm not going to bury it anymore, and I'm going to allow it, but learn how to make it safe to feel your emotion in a way that's acknowledging your inner child, acknowledging that there was a pain that happened, that just being yourself has been a struggle, that has been difficult. And so there's all kinds of benefits that you get by acknowledging it. And one of my favorite analogies here, and what you're beginning to do just through acknowledging how you really feel, is like if you've ever experienced an animal that's skittish around humans, maybe it was hurt or maybe it never really had much human contact. This past summer, I met a kitty cat who was in a cage, and maybe it was just shy, I don't know what it was, but it was skittish. When I went to pet it, it backed away. And so it's in this cage, and after just, seeing it back away, I thought, okay, let me just put my hand in the cage and allow the cat to come to me. And after a couple minutes, or after a few minutes, or whatever it was, the cat would come over and maybe allow me to, stroke its head. Or over time, what happens is that the animal that was backing away, because I was gentle and not forcing it, it came toward me. So it is with your inner child. By simply beginning to say, I'm willing to acknowledge that you feel something. I'm willing to acknowledge that you feel that there's something wrong with you. I'm willing to acknowledge that you're there. right? You begin to put your hand out to a part of you that has never really felt seen, heard, and understood, never felt embraced. So it's like with any relationship, it's taking the first step and the next step and the next step to creating where, I've experienced it with clients who have done, as I've done, deep diving here into this work, that the child that was backing away begins to welcome your interaction. Maybe, welcome your hugs and your welcome to come and sit on your lap, whatever it may be. There's a big difference between the child that's backing away and the one that is beginning to warm up and feel safe with you. This is all happening inside of you. It's you feeling safe with who you are, and your inner child is the key to that. Really, the key to unlocking the ability, instead of repressing, but you're actually learning to express. Okay? And so emotionally, I do want to put another gift here, that what happens, and when you're looking at your human design chart, there's actually two places that you can look. Now, if you have an open or undefined, and basically that's when you look at your human design and you look at your emotion center, which is the triangle that's on its side to the right of the chart. When you look at that, if it is white, you may have a gate or two or more defined or colored in, but the center itself is white. Okay, that's called an undefined center, or an undefined emotion center in this case. If it's colored in, then you're defined, and this doesn't apply to this. You're different. You have definition in your emotions, and you have a way that your emotions, depending on your emotional wave, how you process and deal with your emotions. But that's defined. Okay. When it's white, you literally take in and amplify the emotions of other people around you. So you may not even be experiencing, which really adds more in my experience with my clients. It adds more to your experience of being afraid and repressing, because you can feel good, like imagine when you were a child, because you had that open emotion center, undefined emotion center, where you would be feeling great, and then all of a sudden you walk into a room and mom and dad's angry, or the teacher's angry, or whoever is in the room, the uncle, the aunt, is angry. Well, because you have that undefined or open center there, you take in their energy and amplify it. And so I'm feeling good by myself. I walk into this room and whack, it feels like I'm taking on the energy of the world. And so knowing that is super powerful. It not only just for the emotions center, for all of the centers. They all behave differently, of course. Yet the way you still take in and amplify other people's energy when you have an open or undefined, or the white centers. So this is where sorting through the laundry, being very, very gaining the clarity, the awareness of how you're designed and what happens versus when you're alone, dealing with your defined centers, or when you're with others and you have these undefined or open centers, and knowing how to really shift gears to observe, to create space and actually understand what's happening both inside yourself when you're alone, and then inside yourself when you're around other people. You can see there's differences that you need to understand about your human design. And so this impacts, obviously, it impacts every part of your life, and it impacts your networking, your marketing, and in this case, and in my example of feeling that I'm too deep, it helped me. It caused me to dilute my marketing, because I was so afraid of not being seen, heard, and understood, because I wasn't sure how to be me. Okay, so lots of reasons that we dilute our marketing, but this is kind of the core reason that we would dilute our marketing: when you don't feel safe, especially that part of you. And I call this the hidden mirror, because you see, when you're looking outside yourself, you're thinking, well, mom and dad's mad at me, I need to figure out what mom and dad needs. When it's actually, what do I need? What's authentic for me? Who am I here to be, right? So that I can sort the laundry and know the difference between who I am and who everybody else is. Okay, so this leads me to the two human design astrological symbols within the human design system that we're looking at in this particular video tonight. And I call it the relationship axis because it'll help you to gain a balance between what you give and what you receive. And in fact, like the air you breathe, breathing in is receiving, breathing out is giving. In and out, in and out. All relationships actually have this giving and receiving aspect to it, back and forth, right? So it should be natural, it should be easy, and it should flow. So the relationship axis and the turnaround question for this particular axis is moving from needing somebody to do something for me, which is an outside in, moving from that to having empowered relationships, which is an inside out, where you ask yourself, how can I serve my tribe? Again, standing in that power of knowing who you are, where you're giving, not just giving to everybody, but giving strategically of yourself because you understand who you are and what you're here to give, uniquely you, with your unique, what I call your unique brilliance, right? And that relates to creating your own divine message that is uniquely you. Okay, so the astrological symbol, the first one that I'm going to talk about is Mars. Mars is the one it's near the middle of the table with the circle and the arrow that's pointing up. That's Mars. Okay, Mars is the typical just do it energy where you're moving and giving, right? When I talked about in networking and when I put myself out there and I just was on that autopilot of needing to prove myself to get love, it was in that Mars energy where, again, most of us have been trained really well in that energy to give of ourselves in such a way that caused us to overgive, to give too much, okay? Because it comes from this giving energy that if we just simply believe that that's all we're here to do is to do what other people want, then it's this, and it's called pushing energy, okay? We're overgiving. But now, to be balanced with Mars, you ask this question, which is, how do others perceive my actions upon them? Okay, when you get very crystal clear about how do others perceive my actions upon them, what you're doing is you're learning to give from a place of ease and giving, and just it's not pushing, but it's just natural. Again, giving from not a fear of being too deep, but giving because I am deep and I can give because this person has, it was especially with the generator, if we use in the generator strategy, which is to wait to respond. I'm giving because others are asking me to give to them, right? They're asking something from me. I'm not just giving because I feel like I have a need to give. I'm giving because I have been asked, right? Somebody is asking me for my service. Very different energy. Pushing is kind of dumping on people, whereas being asked and responding, as far as the generator goes, is giving from this place of, it's an empowered giving, an empowered relationship. Okay, so that's the Mars question. The Mars affirmation is, it is safe for me to give my best to others and notice their reactions to me. Okay, now the part of me that felt hidden, unseen, unheard, misunderstood, that was afraid to give from my level of depth, didn't understand how to observe what other people were needing and asking of me. It was, again, pushing energy. Now the part of me who can observe and be from this place of balance inner balance can give and feel safe to give, because I can see, again, much like the Toastmasters story, where I'm aware of what's happening within and around me. Okay? Again, give strategically and create empowered relationships, first with yourself and then with your tribe. Okay, now the second symbol is beautiful Venus. Venus is the symbol that is the person with the person without the hat. The person with the hat is in the chart is Mercury. The person without the hat is Venus. Venus, and this is specifically Venus as it relates to the astrological symbol, or the astrological sign of Libra. Okay, so where Mars is this giving energy, giving to other people, even giving to ourselves, but it's projecting out into the world. Venus is receiving energy. It's actually very gentle, feminine, relaxed energy. Mars masculine, Venus feminine. The Venus question, you can see, again, receiving, like the air you breathe, receiving. Okay. The Venus question is, how do I perceive my actions upon, how do I perceive others' actions upon me? Okay. How do I perceive others' actions upon me? Meaning, as the Mars is giving to other people, there are people, right? We're here to support one another. There are people that are here to simply give to you. And you're just here to say, wow, thank you. I receive what you're here to give me. Okay, so this is where we allow the breath in. Now, how would breathing wouldn't work very well if we're just constantly trying to give. So those of us, that was why when I was in that needy place of give, it's a contracted state. I was always trying to breathe the air in rather than, always trying to breathe the air out, right? Give is breathing the air out. If I never take a breath, I have nothing to give. This is my analogy of trying to pour from the empty pitcher. You're always breathing, giving. It's always out. You have to receive to balance your energy. You have to receive. And this is what Venus, especially with Libra Venus, we have empowered relationships when we allow ourselves to receive from others. Beautiful. You can see the flow. You're in the flow. It's easy. Give, receive. That's the power of this relationship axis. Okay, and how you want to turn around your neediness to a place of empowerment, to a place of giving strategically and receiving strategically. So the question, how do I perceive others' actions upon me? From a place of receiving or from a place of being closed down to them giving to you? Okay. The affirmation is, it is now safe for me to get present, observe my environment, and receive what I need. Okay, so I'm going to just leave you with that, this relationship axis, give and receive, allowing that flow to come in and go out, in and out, and just learning to see, again, filling in the blank, I feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood because I am too deep, or whatever it may be for you. Allowing yourself to receive the gift from that so that you can, again, heal that part of you that has been feeling not acknowledged, closed down, repressed. By allowing it to express, you begin to give strategically, and it opens the door for the manifestations just to flow in. You become more and more of the magnet so that you're standing out and shining and allowing your tribe just easily come to you. You're giving strategically to the right people, the people that really do want to receive what you have to give, and you're equally receiving from those that are here to give to you. A balanced, cohesive, simple relationship with great clarity. Okay? So again, look at the turnaround script. look at that handout, that PDF. Still keep looking and journaling about what your core need may be. And I'm also gifting you today an ideal client transformation worksheet. See, as you're moving from your pain to your pleasure, you're also here to help your ideal client move from the pain that they're experiencing to the pleasure that they want. And you're uniquely designed to do that, which brings me back to message me, get your human design birth chart, one of the most important things you can get and receive from me, and really get into an empowered Venus relationship with me. Just receive, it's my gift, free human design birth chart, and as well as your complimentary 30-minute unique brilliance discovery session. You can get all of that by emailing me at info@crystalclearyou.com. All right, continue having fun with this, and please, in any way that I can support you. And you'll be receiving tomorrow the 5th and final video in this series. And keep having fun. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.